I'm Noreen and welcome to my kitchen and another installment of Pick Your Produce. Today we're going to be focusing on corn, how you can pick the perfect cob of corn, and then I'm going to share with you how I like to remove corn on the cob from the cob for cooking, canning, or whatever. So let's go see how we pick our produce. Alright, we're going to get started showing you the best way to choose corn, what you should look for, what you should know, and then you'll have the perfect ear of corn to enjoy with your barbecue or whatever it is. And I'm also going to show you how you can easily cut the corn off the cob without making a giant mess in your kitchen. And we're going to share with you how we like to choose corn. And Rick grew up in
northern Indiana. My high school was surrounded by cornfields on three sides and a pig farm on the other.
We found some really great corn at the grocery store today. It's really beautiful. This is Silver Queen corn, and it is super sweet and it's delicious because I tasted it when I was removing it from the cob for our recipe that we're going to do tonight. But we haven't done a pick your produce since we did avocado, but I pulled back the husk on this piece of corn. So what you want to look for when you go to the grocery store, I'm just going to put this aside. You go to the grocery store, this is what you're going to see. Big bin of corn. Just like this. So what you basically want to look for, I always acquiesce to Rick to pick the corn because he is like the corn picking king. So you want to make sure that, first of all, the husk is not dried out on the outside. Otherwise, that means it's dried out on the inside.
Yeah, your kernels are going to start denting in because you're getting dried out.
So you don't want the husk to be crispy. And then what you want to do is, we always do this in the grocery store.
We always try to get the big fat round one.
Because you know you're going to have a really nice cob of corn that's going to be supple and full of moisture and really full of flavor. So then what we do is, before we even start picking through the cobs,
before anything else,
the very first thing we do is
smell test.
We have to do the sniff test. Okay, so you come and you pull back just pull back a little bit of the husk. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stick your nose right there. And if that smells like dirt,
sweet dirt,
I think it smells very grassy and fresh, but it does smell like sweet dirt.
Yes, you want to smell it. You want it to smell sweet, but not smell like weeds.
You want it, in my opinion, to smell like your backyard does after a good rain.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sweet dirt because the earth is absorbing all of that moisture. But stick your schnoz right there and give a big deep breath, and if it smells like sweet dirt, you know that you're going to have a really good cob of corn. The other thing you want to look for,
like weeds, pass it by.
Yeah, because that's not going to be good. The other thing you want to look for is, I don't have a cob of corn that is like this, but you know, sometimes you get them, they're not fully developed, and they'll look for lack of a better word,
naked.
They look naked or anemic. The top kernels have not fully developed yet, maybe picked a little bit too early with the rest of the corn, and this whole maybe top of your corn cob is not so pretty.
What nice full kernels.
You do.
Make sure the kernels are not indented.
Yes. And that's,
I mean, they don't have to be perfect like there's one there, but that's just one out of, you don't want a whole bunch of them indented like that. Exactly.
So that's how we pick corn, and then you just shuck it. If you're not familiar, I'll show you how I shuck a cob of corn. Is the first thing I usually do before I even pull back all of this is I snap off the bottom, because most of your outside part is going to come off with the stem. And I do this over the garbage can. If you can do this outside, that's even better. But I usually do it standing by my sink over the trash can. Then if I'm making this just to do corn on the cob and I'm doing it in my pressure cooker, I take a super sharp knife and I cut the ends off here. And I cut the very tip of this pointy end off as well. I just do that because if you're going to use corn holders or something, it is giving you a flat surface in which to pierce the corn on the cob on both ends. So that's how I take care of corn when I want to just cook it for corn on the cob eating. So let me get this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how I take that off the cob with a knife. I have taken the corn off of 5 cobs tonight because I'm going to be making a recipe that I will be sharing with you. But when I do that, the best way to do it that I have found, and it seriously is not my original idea. I think I've seen this several times in my Facebook feed, but I've been doing it like this for a while. You take a bundt pan or a tube pan of some sort. I find the bundt pan to be easier because it is a little bit of a lower profile. The tube pan is a little deeper, so it's a little higher, and it gets a little bit cumbersome when you're trying to do this, and you don't want your knife to slip and have anybody get hurt. So this may be a little awkward, but you want your sharp knife. This is my Rita Cook's knife, and you just want to situate your knife so that you're going to run right down along that cob and then just gently saw back and forth. And then what you can do is you can either move the cake pan or you can move the cob corn. And don't do that. And it does take a little bit of practice until you get fully comfortable with what you're doing, but go slow and you'll get it in no time. And sometimes you might have to go around another time, but that's all right. Nobody's going to complain if their kernel of corn is broken, because frankly nobody is going to notice.
And they got those fancy gadgets that will do this too. But
you don't need those fancy gadgets. You already have a knife. And if you have a Rita knife, you have the best knife. That's just my opinion. All right, I'll put a link in the information box below if you're interested in learning about the Rita Cook's knife. And then you can go get yourself one. It's awesome. But you can see this does a really good job of cutting the corn off the cob, and now you can go make your own corn dish with that, corn pudding or cornbread. You can if you're getting ready to can up some home canned corn, this is a great way of doing that. So that's how you pick a perfect cob of corn when you want to have some for dinner or you want to get ready to go canning. And this is how I remove corn from the cob easily without making a giant mess with only a sharp knife and a cake pan. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this helped you learn how to pick your produce for corn. I want to thank you for joining me today so I could show you how to do this, and so Rick could share how to do this as well, because this really is his technique and I'm really happy to be able to share it with you. So if you like this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up, and if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we do right here on our YouTube channel and straight from our kitchen. I hope you give this way of choosing your corn a try. I hope you also give this way of taking corn off the cob a try, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya. The handy stir and my granny knife. This granny knife, and this is brand new, so it still has the little safety thing on it. I don't know if you can see, but that middle tine is ever so slightly higher than the rest. So if you're like flipping meat, you can pick that right up. It's super sharp and I love it. It's like, you know, they have those little hooky things that they use when they're making the barbecue, when they make